Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and these are my thoughts. Some time ago, I came across this wonderful article. Christians are sick of being punished for their views in America. Let's just go through it, shall we? It may seem radical to say these days, but it's true. America is a nation founded on Judeo-Christian values. Words from scripture are inscribed on our money and our most hallowed institutions, including Congress, the US Supreme Court, and state capitals everywhere. Our Declaration of Independence acknowledges our Creator as the being from whom all our rights flow. This does not mean that other religious groups are not welcomed in America. Of course they are. People who practice no religion at all are also welcomed. Wrong. Completely fucking wrong. First off, "In God We Trust" was first added to the US coins during the beginning of the Civil War, with religious sentiment was on an upswing and concerned Americans wanted the world to know what their country stood for. The first phrase was minted in 1864. Let's get rid of this notion that we are a Christian nation once and for all and read some letters, shall we? Shall we read some letters? "Erecting the wall of separation between church and state is absolutely essential in a free society. I have recently been examining all the known superstitions of the world and do not find in our particular superstition one redeeming feature. They are all alike, founded upon fables and mythology." Thomas Jefferson, 1808. "The way to see by faith is to shut the eye of reason." Benjamin Franklin. "The government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion." John Adams. "The civil rights of none shall be abridged on account of religious belief or worship, nor shall any national religion be established, nor shall the full and equal rights of conscience be in any manner or on any pretext infringed. Religious bondage shackles and debilitates the mind and unfits it for every noble enterprise." James Madison. "But while the First Amendment guarantees the free exercise of religion, we are no longer a nation that fully supports the right to hold or express Judeo-Christian values." I don't know why people like you deify the founding fathers so much. Didn't God say not to worship false idols? These people are dead, right? You know they don't matter anymore at this point, what they want or could have wanted or may want during modern times. Excuse me, what is being denied to you for being Christian? I was denied a car sale, an apartment, and had to take down my pride flag and have someone fake being straight to get our house properly appraised. Marriage license denied, anyone? Medical services denied? Are there conversion camps for Christians? Can I pay $50,000 a year to have my kid legally trafficked to another country and be reformed through mental and physical abuse done by unqualified, self-proclaimed council leaders like in the documentary Kidnapped for Christ?
I woke up, two guys were at my house.
"You need to wake up and put clothes on. You're going to a school in the Dominican Republic."
They tied a belt around my waist, dragged me with the belt to their car.
QR is forbidden to talk about. You're not allowed to talk about why you were there. That's not something I've never heard. I mean, I wasn't even told not to say that, but it's just one of those things that you don't say. You're in the room by yourself. You get a mattress that's about that thick, at its thickest, and a pillow and a blanket.
You'd hear there'd be 4 or 5 big guys, staff members in there with a kid. And there's just all you just knew that the kid was being tossed around and slammed against. And this is after, a kid has probably been in there for days.
By the way, not just one facility, but hundreds of facilities throughout the country that try to operate as secretly as possible. These fucking people confuse the inability to impose their superstition on others as discrimination. Like this whole situation with a coach praying out in the open with his players, creating a situation that pressures his players to participate. You can scream it's optional all you want. You really think the odd ones out that refuse to participate are not setting themselves up to be looked over for a scholarship or opportunities to be put out in the field? Joe Kennedy, a former high school football coach in Bremerton, was fired from his job in 2015 after conducting prayer sessions at the 50-yard line. He sued his school district in the case that was ultimately decided in his favor by the Supreme Court. What does the Bible say about showboating in regards to your faith again? Matthew 6, 1 through 34. Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them, for then you will receive no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Thus, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. Truly, I say to you that they have received their reward. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. Praying out in public, loud and proud, is ineffective to God. I have experienced this firsthand when I was the scholar in residence at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia. I proudly and openly identified as a Christian woman of color. In October 2021, I criticized DC Comics for making Superman's son bisexual, saying in a tweet, "I don't get why this is necessary. I don't. What if Christian parents of children reading comic books don't want their kids exposed to bisexual characters? This is being pushed onto kids. But it's okay for you dumb cunt, to push your shit on your kids, right? Fuck you. Kids don't have the money to buy comic books. You do, stupid breeder. Why don't you give your kid the Action Bible then? If you think it's so important that they instead learn about people like King David, a character who also not only killed 200 soldiers, but collected their foreskins to be used as payment for the king's daughter. You cool with your son being exposed to that character as opposed to Superman's bisexual son? How asinine is this too? Superman's son, he can smash buildings, go supersonic speed, fly. He's an alien. Can he like dick? No! That's impossible! Straight away, my private tweet was brought into my public university workplace, and my Christian faith was attacked as a cover for my homophobic views. That's because it is, you dumb fuck. It is, and I can prove it. In fact, you proved it for yourself. Arguing against queer characters merely existing in entertaining storytelling without using an argument based on superstition. Go for it. Go for it. Do it. See if you can do it. You can't. You fucking can't. Try again. Wrong answer, bitch. I was deemed homophobic, unsafe, and violent by an openly bisexual faculty member who then incited colleagues, university officials, and students against me. Yes, because you were creating a hostile work environment. You should just get fucked by a dragon. Tell me how this would play out. I was really angry at this TV show Star Trek for having an interracial kiss. I don't understand why they need to expose us to things like race mixing, because I mean that's communism and stuff. And according to my Christian Bible, God separated the races in Babel for a reason, then cursed the children of Cain with black skin. What do you mean I'm racist and promote a hostile work environment? What do you mean? What do you mean? This is just another attack on my Christian beliefs. Won't be long before it's even illegal to believe in God, I bet. All those movies are right. They're gonna one day put us in a camp, force us to take the mark. I fully agree with the fact that marginalized groups have the right to be heard. Their viewpoints should be respected and protected in our public, educational institutions, and even private corporations. But so should the views of Christians. And finally, the Supreme Court seems to agree with me. Your viewpoints are not based in reality, so no, they should not be respected. Your beliefs do not deserve respect from people. Your free speech and freedom of expression does not nullify opposition, especially when you promote such viewpoints as being true and should be enforced by law and by societal pressure. Moron. For the past 50 years, courts have upheld a religious exemption for private or religious schools from Title IX, meaning schools that receive federal education funds do not have to conform to gender policies if they conflict with the core tenets of their faith. In short, religion is a protected class, just like race, gender, and sexual orientation. Faith is a belief in something without evidence. If some rule or policy you have to follow conflicts with your beliefs, then you get no funding and should be fined out of existence. The thing that bothers me most about how people of faith like Kennedy and myself are treated is that we are just cut off, thrown out, removed, as he should be, like a fucking tumor. As if we are these hateful, bigoted religious cultists who just want to push our faith onto others. You do. You do. If it was up to you, that fucking book that you mentioned earlier would just be banned. It wouldn't even be allowed to be published. It would be fucking sunk into the ground, despite the reality that you refuse to accept. We have a viewpoint, we have a faith that informs how we live and think. That's unfortunate. A lens through which we process. Just as I also have a specific perspective as a black female in America, I do not want to tell others how they should live and think. Well then don't. What were you doing on fucking Twitter then? What were you telling people about on Twitter? You don't want your kid to learn about queer people existing. Well fine. Okay, what if people didn't want fucking black people to be known to be existing, huh? I just want to be heard as every America should be. Yeah, you can. You did. You were. And that's why people turned their nose up to you, because that's their right too. You can't have your cake and eat it too, bitch. Try having a business that denies services to straight people or black people. I fucking dare you. What is your superstition? Something that doesn't even exist. Rules that are not even based on reality. How does that override something that is in reality, like queer existence and trans people? How does that work exactly? It's completely fucking backwards. But for some reason, people are supposed to be okay with a business denying someone for being queer, and it's okay for schools to get federal funding promoting superstition to kids and telling them there is an invisible man in the sky, and not comprehending having prayer meetings at sports games and classrooms, no matter how optional, doesn't set things up for biases and exclusion from fellow peers and authority figures. You're a teacher, you're there to teach. You're a coach, you're there to coach, not proselytize your fucking nonsense to kids unless you're open to the idea of accommodating every other faith, from Muslim to the Satanic Temple, you fucking taffer. But these are just my thoughts. Subscribe, share, like, comment me ideas for topics and art. Patreon if you want early episodes, sketchbook access, and high-res downloads. Discord group to interact with me and other creators. Under the group name Horny Jail Alliance. Prints are for sale at the online store. Live streams on the Rotten 8 Creations channel. Some real weird stuff on the Weird Zors channel. Share, subscribe, like I said, goodbye.